2026, the world is becoming more dangerous. Conflicts are arising at a greater pace and a greater rate than they are being resolved. They're happening everywhere from the Western Hemisphere to the Middle East to Europe with Russia and Ukraine. And today I am here to talk about a past conflict that was simmering for a while that may be starting to heat up again in the near future. But before I dive into that, make sure you smash those like buttons, subscribe to the channel, drop some comments down below for the engagement, and here we go. In June, we had the 12-day war between Israel and Iran, which saw both sides trading fire, with Iran launching 22 waves of ballistic, hypersonic, and supersonic missiles into Israeli territory during Operation True Promise 3, which was the result of Israel launching a deadly night aerial bombardment on Iran. The lore, if you don't recall, Israel was waiting for the moment to attack Iran, which we know they've been trying to do that for a while, and then they did. But what led to that was the negotiations between the United States and Iran to curb Iran's nuclear program was progressing, but they were going to have a 6th round of talks, but Trump previously made a prerequisite of if a deal wasn't made by after 60 days, they were going and bomb Iran. And so while negotiations were continuing, 60 days did pass, and Iran was inevitably attacked by Israel, which led to the breakdown of the negotiations and a lot of distrust, as Iran quickly retaliated to the Israeli aggression 5 hours later by launching like hundreds of missiles and drones into Israel and into key cities and sectors of Israel like Tel Aviv and Hebron, El Beit, and a few other cities, and major key infrastructure and military targets, including intelligence agencies, military complexes and hospitals, and so on and so forth, and economic infrastructure. The reason this is important now is because it seems that the conflict between Israel and Iran is starting to heat up again, with the protests taking place in Iran right now. It looks like Israel might be trying to take advantage of the protest and try to force a regime change again with military force, which we saw did not work the first time. Most likely won't work this time, but the difference is this time retaliation will be stronger. It will be more intense. It will be probably a lot longer than 12 days of war. Mind you, after the 12 days of war between Israel and Iran, which ended with a ceasefire, which I'm surprised this held this long, but considering Israel's well-known well-known ability of violating ceasefires and destroying ceasefires and breaking down ceasefires and continuing war to serve Israel's own selfish national interests. But Iran has been modernizing its aging fleet, its aging military, I should say. It's been focusing on upgrading its defense, air defense, Navy, its aging Air Force. Iran has been trying to secure and purchase Chinese and Russian fighter jets that are well more advanced than the current fleet they have right now. Iran also has developed a unconventional aircraft carrier, or in this case, drone carrier. It's able to carry drones and launch drones, UAVs, and unmanned carriers, drones and stuff from the seas. While Iran doesn't have a typical aircraft carrier, they do have that now. But it isn't complete. It's been repurposed from an old shipping tanker, so it's not exactly a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. But they've been upgrading the missile defense and deterrence. They've been expanding the production of missiles underground and internationally in key factories. And they've just been preparing for war with Israel again once the ceasefire was signed, because, you know, Israel's trustworthiness when it comes to ceasefires is, well, it doesn't exist. So, it's also going to be interesting because Israel's air defense for the Arrow, David Sling, and the Iron Dome is still pretty depleted from getting the 12-day war. So if Israel does try to attack Iran again, and if they do attack, the air defense is going to be very limited, especially if you consider if Hezbollah joins the fight this time and starts launching missiles at Israel as well. Israel will struggle. It will leave gaps in the air defenses as they will try to ration interceptors to shoot down what's the biggest threat and what's not, which will be harder since they'll have two countries attacking it this time, not just one. But at the same time, you also have to remember Israel is completely stretched thin with its military. It's suffering complete breakdowns in political and military cooperation. The multiple fronts has stretched resources beyond thin. You got reservists refusing to show up for duty. Israel won't be able to maintain multiple front war much longer. It's costing them a lot economically, domestically. It's a nightmare for Israel. And I'm not a fan of Israel. They're committing a genocide in Palestine and the warmongering in the Middle East. But civilians should not have to pay the price for the government's selfishness. And I'm not saying Iran doesn't have a reason to defend itself. It definitely does. Every country that's been attacked by Israel so far has a right to self-defense. So, you also have to remember the first war, Iran significantly restrained itself. It did not use much of its heavier, more advanced weaponry. It restrained itself to massive few first waves of missile strikes, and then it just kept going down with the amount of missiles it was firing, which at the time I didn't understand. But now, if you think about it, they were preparing for a war of attrition. They were going to try to casually just wear Israel down to the point that it wouldn't matter if they were sending 50, 40 missiles at a time, because at that point Israel would have run out of interceptors. So 50 missiles here, 40 missiles there, 5 drones here would make a difference, as the defense capabilities would not have allowed it to shoot them all down. And it would have eventually caused significant loss of life, billions of dollars in damage, and potentially could have done worse than that. But at the same time, which that's also a key reason to why the ceasefire was begged for by Israel, because the interceptors were severely low and were on the edge of running dry. It's not really improved since then. So it would be interesting if Israel does attack Iran. It will be a longer war, bloodier. It could develop into a regional war. Could get worse than that. It could go global. You never know. But Iran has been improving. It's got allies. Israel has just been killing its armies by fighting multiple different countries for really no reason at this point. But the resources are running dry. It's not going to war with Iran now is not a good reason. And I don't know why they even want to. I mean, Iran is already economically sanctioned to the heavily. It's not really worth starting a war for nothing. But I do not see Israel coming out of the war, a war with Iran, part 2, alive. It will be devastating. Plus, I mean, well, Iran's had time to rebuild, restructure, strengthen, and restock its supplies. Israel has not. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed to see Israel get what it deserves by Iran, but with all these conflicts breaking out, what we need now is de-escalation and not escalation, because if it keeps going down this path, this next thing you know, we'll be looking down the barrel of World War III, and that would not be a winner for anyone, because it could potentially turn nuclear. So, yeah, war with Iran and Israel is looming. It's imminent, but hopefully it does not happen. Unfortunately, it may happen, but at this time, all you can hope for is it doesn't, because the highest cost, the people who pay the biggest price for war, are the civilians who have no choice in the matter, who never asked for war. So it's the civilians who pay the biggest price in war, because of the leaders' selfishness and stupidity. And this goes for all countries: Israel, America, Iran, European countries, Asian. So, yeah, hopefully we start seeing de-escalation, but unfortunately, I don't see it being likely at this time. But yeah, yeah. So hopefully it breaks down. If it does, just gotta hope for the best now. So that's all I got for you today. So